It's always fun to see what are in packages that you order. So this is a really exciting package for me. Oh. So I ordered mushrooms. We got oyster, an elm oyster, wine cap, king oyster, blue oyster, bear's head. This is a hericium, shiitake, a warm strain of shiitake, and the cold strain of shiitake, turkey tail, Rishi, lion's mane. This is good for your brain. And the last one, yellow oyster. I got an inoculation tool as well. Let's see what it's all about if I can get in it. And then the drill bit to get into the logs. All right. This is a custom made one and it cost $100. So it better be good. You know I'm serious about mushrooms if I spend $100 on a tool. It's a few days later, but the first mushroom that I'm gonna be planting, for lack of a better word, is this turkey tail. And I'm gonna be using the totem method rather than inoculating. I chose that way for this turkey tail. So I've gotta go cut some logs. I cut the logs to the size that I can carry them. So the first thing that needs to be done is to mash it up so it is more pliable. It breaks up pretty easily. These are 4-pound bags of mycelium and sawdust. So you put a bit on the cardboard first. Alright, the ground is not quite level, so I gotta fix that. Alright, this is pretty good and level. So let's put some more sawdust and mycelium. Spawn, it's called. Don't want to waste any of it. And that's as tall as I'm gonna go. And so you keep doing this with other logs until all the spawn is used up. I was able to get 6 totems of varying heights on this turkey tail. So it went pretty good. Now on to the next mushroom. My next project is to inoculate these bear's head plugs. I have this birch log here. So oh, that's pretty slick. So this drill was too big. It flops around and not deep enough. So I have to get a 3/8 bit. That should work. So let's see if this works. Fits in there nicely. So I had some beeswax melting on the campfire and it's really solidified already. But what you do is you just seal the pegs with this so that no bugs can get in there and it keeps the moisture in. And you can use beeswax or soy wax or cheese wax. Just no petroleum-based waxes. There, it's a mess, but it works. So when you get your log all inoculated and sealed up, then you gotta put it in the shade. Evergreen shade is the best. As you can tell, I stood my log upright. That way I can water it evenly, and I nestled it between the trees so it won't fall over. I think it's the perfect spot. So I had a bit of spawn left over that wasn't attached to the dowels. So I cut myself 2 pieces of birch, and I'll just make a sandwich or a mini totem with it and see how it does. I see there's a lot of grain in here, so I hope it probably won't last long, but squirrels probably will get it, or the birds, but we'll try. Now on to my next mushroom project, and that's the Rishi mushroom. Now you're gonna either think this is a brilliant idea or a dreadful idea, but I'm gonna be inoculating it into my hugelkultur bed. There's cottonwoods in there, so this is an experiment. Cool, it works. This beeswax smells so nice. I decided I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, so I'm gonna inoculate this birch log with some reishi as well. All right, on to my next mushroom, which is the oyster mushroom. I found a pile of logs here in the woods, so I think I'll do the totem method with this one. I don't have enough spawn for another totem setup, so I thought of something else. I'm gonna spread this cardboard out. Like that. Clear away this thing. see how that works. Hopefully. This is purely experimental. On to my next mushroom, which is the blue oyster mushroom. Now this is one that I tried to fruit in my home and was only minimally successful. So I'm going to be smart this time planting it outside. I'm going to give it 3 different methods. So the first one is the totem method on the log that I'm sitting on, and then I'm going to inoculate some logs, and then the rest I'm going to put in straw and see if they grow there. I changed my mind. I am a fickle woman. I decided I'm going to inoculate first. All right, that was quite the workout. I was lifting a bit heavier logs than I should be. Anyway, got her done. I hope one of these 3 methods works. All right, on to my next mushroom, which is the yellow oyster. Again, I tried growing this in my home and was completely unsuccessful. Like I had maybe a 1/4 of a cup of mushrooms from that. So I'm gonna do the same thing, plant it on totems and logs and straw, and we'll see which one works the best. I won't show you the whole process this time, but I'll show you the end, the patch where it's at. So this is the log I inoculated. I did it completely around, so there should be lots of mushrooms coming. And then here's the totem and straw area. So I have to be sure and keep it moist, water it whenever I'm here, and that should do the trick. Okay, on to my next mushroom, and this is the mushroom that got me enthused about doing mushrooms, and that is the shiitake. So I fruited this block in my home and got quite a few mushrooms off of it, and now the rest of it I'm going to be inoculating into different smaller sized logs. I have ash and birch and poplar that I'm going to be using. This is a warm strain, and I also have a cold strain that I'm going to be doing. So since you've already seen the process, I won't show it to you anymore. However, I will show you when I'm done what it looks like. So those are the warm shiitakes, and there's the cold strain. So believe you me, that was quite a lot of work, a lot of heavy lifting, but I got her done. Now it's on to the king oyster. I was able to grow it inside, and now I'm going to plant the rest of the block in here. On this log, I'm going to inoculate these 2 logs and then do some totems as well. All right, on to the next mushroom, which is the Elm Oyster. Now, I tried growing this at home, as you can tell, but I was unsuccessful. They just shriveled up. Very difficult to grow indoors, at least I found. So I'm going to take off these dried, shriveled up mushrooms and put them at the bottom of a totem and see if that does anything. And then inoculate a bunch of logs around here. So I got 4 totems of elms, and all of these logs are inoculated with the elm spawn. So that was a big job. I'm on my very last mushroom now to inoculate, and it is the lion's mane. Now, I have tried for 2 months to grow this inside because I really wanted to eat some lion's mane. However, it didn't do a blessed thing. It grew, the mycelium is nice and white, the block, compared to when I got it, but just no fruiting. So I'm hoping, like anything, it'll fruit outside now. I'm going to inoculate it into logs and maybe a couple totems too. And I'm placing it throughout my acreage in hopes that one of the locations will work. So yay, I'm almost done. This kills me to see this gorgeous birch tree down, but we've had some severe windstorms, so that probably came down then. But at least I can make use of it with the mushrooms now, but oh, it's such beautiful wood. Well, I got 4 totems for this lion's mane, so I'm very pleased about that. And now that means I am done inoculating. Big celebration time. So it took me 1.5 months. So I started in mid-March and it's now the end of April to do all these mushrooms. So it was quite an investment in time. And then it cost me $500 for the inoculation tool and the mushroom spawn. And then I used 4 pounds of beeswax, so that came up to $60. And then of course chainsaw. I actually did buy the chainsaw specifically for this project, but of course I'll use it for other purposes as well. So anyway, it's quite an expensive experiment. I'm hoping it turns out. I guess you'll just have to subscribe and see if it actually does fruit. So, actually, I lied to you. I have 1 more bag of spawn to inoculate, but this wine cap is inoculated differently than what I've done here. So that'll be for another video. Thanks for watching.